My mom's house has always been wrapped in a veil of mystery. It's located very close to the town hospital, and for a long time we've faced strange things inside that house. Once I came face to face with a pitch-black dog that invaded the house trying to hurt me, my mom, and my little daughter. That's not the end of it. For years, several people who visited for different reasons were harassed by apparitions and shadows that emerged out of nowhere, leaving fear and uncertainty for anyone who saw them. The most recent event happened on a weekend. My children regularly stay at my mom's on weekends. She arrived from work at night to pick them up. Her husband was at home watching television with the lights off, waiting for her. The living room was dark except for the glow of the screen. He was watching when, in the blink of an eye, a couple of shadows passed by, moving quickly toward the kitchen. Reflexively, he got up and ran to check that no one had gotten in. He turned on the lights and saw no one. All the doors and windows were closed. Nervous, he turned on every light. When my mom arrived, he told her what had happened. She was used to this kind of activity and told him not to mention it to the grandchildren so they wouldn't be frightened. We arrived at my mother's house, my children and I talked, and tried not to make a big deal of it. That night my daughter had a terrible dream. In it, my mother's house was swallowed by a great black shadow that leaked through the doors and windows, trying to reach us. As soon as we saw it enter, we ran to hide in the hall, but the shadow somehow reached my little son and grabbed him quickly. My daughter watched me, completely terrified, as my son disappeared into that blackness. She couldn't speak or move, but she pulled me and forced us to run. We ran toward the stairs where my mom, her husband, and their dog were. The stairs felt electric. The steps kept moving and we couldn't reach our relatives. I shouted to my daughter that if she saw the shadow, she must not stop for anything. After a lot of effort, we reached the room where she and her brother were staying and locked the door to wait for the worst. There were hits, scratches, and very loud noises on that door. When the sounds stopped, we went out and headed to my mother's room, which had a terrace we could use to escape. When my mom's husband saw the black shape coming, he slammed the door and we ran to the terrace, where the dog barked frantically. Terror froze us when the shadow fell on the animal and broke half of its body. The dog screamed in pain and panic filled us at the terrible sight. Then my daughter woke up crying, upset from what she'd seen. While she stayed with my mom, she dreamed the same thing for 2 nights. Paranormal events in that house are frequent. My mom often sees shadows in a large mirror she keeps. They come and go. People who stay there say they feel watched. They hear knocks at doors, whispers as if someone is talking to someone else, and strange noises in the walls. These things have not been physically aggressive, but their presence disturbs and causes panic. People not used to the paranormal have tried to find explanations, but the events defy logic. If anyone knew what was happening in my mother's house, I would want to know. It was a night like any other when Fernando, who worked at a taquería, left late. They had an event and closed around 3 in the morning. He was walking home through a poorly lit alley. The houses hadn't turned on their lights. Halfway to his house he passed a guava bush and noticed a narrow path next to it that branched into another dark alley. He kept walking and suddenly saw a big man sitting in the tree, as if waiting for him. Fear stunned him and he froze. He reacted, ran, and later said he had slept at a neighbor's until dawn. Then he went home and told his mother, but they didn't take him seriously. One night another neighbor came home at midnight and heard the sound of women's heels following him. He heard the footsteps but saw nothing. He waited inside the house to see who it was, but couldn't see anyone. Minutes later he heard the noise again. When he looked out the window, the footsteps stopped in front of his house, and no one was there. Days later he received news he couldn't believe. His daughter in Juárez had died after a bad abortion. They dressed her and buried her, and when people came to the house, the sound of heels was heard again at the entrance. The footsteps stopped at his door. When someone called out and received no answer, the steps retreated slowly, little by little. I don't know if it's my imagination, but every time someone dies, people see or hear a sign. To this day, those sounds and sights are still seen and heard, but no one pays attention anymore. In my town, they call it the Pingo, or, as people say, the devil.